it's Katerina, and it's not a happy day for me. I didn't even want to do this video because I feel so embarrassed. But I need to put this message out there. I said that I would always be transparent. But yes, that's right. I fell off the wagon. I got off track. I derailed my healthy journey, all because I did something silly. And, well, if you want to know more, stick around, because we're going to talk about it. So yeah, that's right. I derailed my journey to wellness because of something silly. So might as well just get right into it. There's no sense in, what do they call that? Beating around the bush. So if you know my story at all, you know that for give or take the last 13 years, I've been a whole food plant-based vegan. During that time, I continued to get sicker and sicker. I was having a lot of issues, migraines, fibromyalgia, the body pain, just horrible IBS, female issues, just skin issues, you name it. I was miserable. To the point that I was also not just obese, but also pretty much housebound. I could leave the house. I did leave the house, but it was painful. Sometimes I needed a walker. It was a horrible way to live, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. So if you watch any of my previous videos, you know what led me to the carnivore diet. I started it out as an elimination diet. I have nothing against the whole food plant-based vegan diet, the community, any of that. I absolutely love the food, and I wish I could eat it again, but it doesn't love me, and that became very apparent when I switched to the carnivore diet. All that being said, I never really was a dairy consumer. Even before I became a whole food plant-based vegan, I had a lactose allergy growing up, and so I just never ever even tried to put it back into my diet. But once I started the carnivore diet, I wanted to see about things like heavy cream and maybe a little cheese or sour cream or things like that. And is that the carnivore diet strictly maybe more of a ketovore type approach? However you look at it. But I started putting dairy into my diet. Unfortunately, in the beginning, I didn't know what was making me so sick. I didn't know if it was just switching to this way of eating in general, if it was because I was eating meat after having been a vegan for so long. I didn't know if it was the dairy. I put up with it for a while, but I also got very sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? But I went ahead and switched over to lactose-free milk, and I didn't have any problems. It seemed to be doing okay. I just had it, for the most part, in my coffee. I would have a little sprinkle of cheese on some things, but I wasn't having any issues, no problems whatsoever after I did that. So I did not consider that dairy was going to be a problem for me at all. And at no point in time, even before that, did I even think that the food was what was giving me these migraine headaches and all of these other things. I just didn't know. I just didn't know. To this day, I'm still completely and utterly flabbergasted that by changing my diet so drastically, I changed my life so drastically. But anyways, because the milk was going well, I did it pretty consistently. Then I had a fair amount of people telling me that I shouldn't do it at all and just to have my coffee black. So I did. I cut out dairy almost completely. But if you, again, have been watching my videos, you know that I eat my feelings. I eat my emotions when things are very stressful in my life. I eat. I have always been on this horrible binge and then restrict, binge, restrict cycle with food. Now, as a vegan, it was starchy, carby foods and sugar. I was a sugar addict. That became very apparent to me when I started the carnivore diet and cut out all sugar. The withdrawals that I was going through were horrible in the beginning. And then being faced in the beginning with some situations where sugar was put into my sights, into my senses, smelling it, being around it, I had what I like to term a meltdown. It really wasn't a meltdown, but still, for a 50-year-old, it was pretty sad. But Again, I was a sugar addict, so that's what I did. And I have a lot of people tell me that it wasn't the vegetables and the fruits and things like that that were making me so sick, that it was the sugar. But I have known that sugar was bad even before I really started cutting it out. And for a span of 3 years, I had no sugar at all, nothing. And I still was sick, so just as sick as I was any other day. So it may have been the sugar, but it was also definitely the plants and things that I was eating. So anyways, that's a whole nother topic. So I have had a series of really bad days. I'm sure you see all of these moving boxes here. I am getting ready to move. I am moving out of state. I'm moving far away from my husband, and pretty much everything here. And it's stressful, and I'm not going to lie, at times overwhelming. And so for me, I have had no desires to eat any carbs, but I have had desires to have just comforting coffee. So I wanted the dairy back in my coffee, that nice, warm, silky, smooth cup of coffee. That's what I wanted. So this little guy right here, this is what I've been putting in my coffee. Now, I'm no dummy. I know that there are carbs in this. So I just do a very little. I mean, I was even measuring out in the beginning ounces. I'll tell you, I tracked everything in the beginning as a side note. I don't know if anybody else really did that, but that's kind of how I knew that dairy was causing some issues again recently, because this notebook I still use every single day, and I'm gonna have to get a new one because this is only good for 90 days. So, you know, but anyways, I was trying to figure out, I was starting to have a lot of symptoms again. I was starting to have migraines again. I was feeling tired. I was feeling irritable. I was feeling really bad, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I turned to my notebook, which is funny because a lot of people tell me you should use MyFitnessPal or you should use Carb Manager, and I did, and I was. However, MyFitnessPal started getting really lippy with me because I wasn't eating, in its mind, enough calories, because I was just eating meat, and it just became more of a pain than doing this. So since it started to be such a stinker, I just don't use it anymore. But anyways, I started going through because recently, in the last week, I started getting migraines again. I started getting aches and pains again. I started getting really irritable and mean and grumpy, and just going to bed right after dinner, and just even my husband was saying something was odd, something wasn't right, what was going on, and I didn't know, but I was under a lot of stress, so I thought maybe it was that. And so I was adding this to my coffee, small amounts to my coffee, just so that I could see it, you know, just slightly taste it, enough for my mind to say, ooh, it's a creamy, yummy cup of coffee. And initially that was helping. But then, and I don't know which one of these guys is the killer, right? But one of them is it. So this video, by the way, is to talk to you about sugar addiction, because it's a real thing. I had purchased something for one of my boys for something, and it was still in the refrigerator. And it was this guy right here. Now, for all intents and purposes, it's not that horrible, right? It's just, it's water. It's non-fat milk, which isn't great. It's, I have to put my glasses on because, you know, I can't read when you get to my age. This kind of stuff happens. It's also the propellant for the, to shoot it out, you know, and then it is sucralose. So, you know, maybe sucralose is okay for some people, and stevia certainly seemed to be okay for me because I use the sweet leaf drops occasionally and have never had any issues. But having a bad day, I had a cup of coffee with this guy, and then I had a little bit of this guy. And I know you're going to come at me and tell me that this isn't carnivore, and that this is, you know, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. But I understand that. I know that, and I feel bad enough about this already. But I wanted a creamy cup of coffee, and then this was delicious. And it's funny because when my husband tasted this, he said, oh, that is so bland. There's no flavor to that at all. But I can tell you what, having not had sugar for a while, you have something that even has a small amount in it, and it is like your taste buds light on fire. And it was so good that I loved it. But it was okay. At first, it was no big deal. Then the next day came by and I thought, I'm going to have another cup of coffee. I'm going to have a little bit of that whipped cream. It's no carbs. It's no sugar. It's no nothing. It's fine. That cup of coffee turned to 2 cups of coffee, turned to 3 cups of coffee, turned to the next day, 2 cups of coffee, 3 cups of coffee, all with this in it. And now listen, it's empty, or just about empty. In about a week, I have gone through all of this, and to be fair, I'm not the only one that drinks this, so, and I only use a little bit of it, but let's just talk about this, right? So I'm apparently a child that has no self-control whatsoever and cannot put this stuff down. Look, I got so bad that after I had had a few cups of coffee that day, I literally thought to myself, maybe I could add this to my tea. It might be good to my tea. I'm telling you, a sugar addiction is real. I thought I beat it, and I didn't. And while this doesn't have sugar in it, it sets off some signals in my brain that start releasing this dopamine, makes me feel good, and then suddenly this is all I'm thinking about was this. And this, to go into my coffee or my tea. I mean, I probably would have put it in my electrolytes maybe. No, I'm just kidding, I wouldn't have. But anyways, so this is going on for a week, and I'm thinking to myself, I picked this can up out of the refrigerator, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Somebody else in the house is eating this. There's no way that this was just me. There's no way. Only it was just me, because everybody else thought it tasted like crap. So, you guys, I, in a week, went through a whole container of Ready Whip, and I've been adding milk to my coffee every single day. And I have gone now a week straight with migraine headaches every day. These cluster headaches behind one of my eyes and up in here. I know what they are. I used to battle them all the time. I threw away all of my migraine medicines and everything else. I only take one single medicine a day, and that is for my heart. And so I had nothing, so I'm taking 800 milligrams of Motrin, trying to alternate it with Benadryl, doing this caffeine, all of this type of stuff, trying to beat these headaches, and they would not go away. Then I noticed that everything was starting to hurt on me, and I was tired. I was exhausted all the time. That's not how I've been feeling lately. I've been feeling amazing lately. So then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to talk about this, and I recorded the whole video. And in case you haven't noticed, I am certainly no professional YouTuber. I'm definitely a non-professional editor. It's a train wreck over here when I try to edit videos. Literally, I'm a disaster at it. But I'm doing this because I'm trying to get the message out for other people like me that have been in the same position as me, that might be, scared to do it, or, just don't know. And so that was my goal, to educate in the way that I could educate, being that I'm not a doctor or, any type of professional like that, but sharing my experience. So, all that being said, I'm trying to get this video out there, and my computer decides for whatever reason that it's going to lock up, and not just lock up, but when I force quit it, it completely erased everything that I had been working on for hours. And I was already working on it for hours with this massive headache. I had been at work all day. I got off. I was like, forget it. I'm just not doing this anymore. I was so angry. I got off of the computer and I went out in the kitchen and I started cooking dinner, and I was biting everybody's heads off, being super snippy, just really grumpy, just no sense of humor whatsoever, just being a really nasty person and thinking, what the heck is going on? I mean, I was like on the outside of my body, like, what are you doing? And my husband was like, what is wrong with you? You haven't been like this in a long time. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm exhausted. I'm irritated. I feel like crap. And is this how I've been living for all of these years? This is what I've been living with. It's horrible. It's horrifying. I wanted to cry, and I probably did. And I finished cooking dinner and took myself to bed. And it was early. It was early. It was probably before 7 o'clock in the evening. And this had been going on for a couple days. And again, what did I do that was different? Which one of these guys was it? Was it this one? Was it this one? Was it a combination of them? Can I have this sometimes? Can I have this sometimes? Can I not have either of them ever? I know what you're going to say, the die-hard carnivores. I know it because this is not carnivore. But I have often said I don't know if I'm carnivore, ketovore, what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to find what works best for me. I'm trying to heal my body, and obviously this is not doing it. So again, I don't mean to go on this rant, and this is not a feel sorry for me video, but I'm really upset with myself. I'm really beating myself up. I know that I need to stop that. It's affecting my mental thought process as well, because since starting the carnivore and seeing such a huge change in just my mental clarity, you know, no more brain fog, in my mood, my depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all of that just literally just melting away. And now here I am, mad at myself, calling myself names, talking down to myself, when the truth of the matter is I made a mistake and I need to get back on the horse, and I need to go again and get this ribeye steak for dinner and have hamburger for lunch tomorrow and do all these things and start over. That's what I need to do. It's not the end of the world. But instead, I'm looking at my ketones and seeing that I'm not making them anymore, and I messed myself all up, and I'm just so upset and didn't want to make this video. And I want to make these videos. I want to do this for everybody that's watching, and I just see how food literally is affecting me. It's affecting us. It's unbelievable, because this is the only thing that I've done different. Was it the dairy? Was it the dairy? Was it the sucralose, the sweetener? Was something going on with the way that it was, you know, firing in my brain and the dopamine signals? And I mean, what? I don't know. I wish I did know, but here we are. So I'm not going to make this video super long. I just want to tell you that I messed up. But that's not the end of my world, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up and move forward. And with your encouragement and cheering on, which I still absolutely love every single day, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to get through this. And I know now not to make these same mistakes, and I hope that I can be strong enough to resist them, because there are things in my house for the other people that eat here that I can't get rid of, because I'm the only one eating this way. So anyways, I don't want to make this super long. Thank you everybody out there who has subscribed to my channel, for everybody who's been commenting, sharing, liking it. If you haven't subscribed to it, you could certainly help me out, help this channel out by doing so, because the more people subscribe, the more the word gets out, the more that this can maybe help somebody else that's going through the same thing. But in any case, I certainly hope that you all have a better day than I've been having, and eat your meat.